how much we have spent in building bridges and building all other roads that has no economic value. That is
my need, like you said, I'm serving over 200 words, 230 something words.
There are 236 words.
So
Now we need to also microwave or micro set that within the state. Now, how many words has those construction been extended to compared to the entire 236 words of the state? We're talking of less than 10 words. So, in essence, what has been done has not been done or was not done with sincerity. It was just done to showcase and with an ego to say, oh, let people see. And if you look at the strategic locations of those constructions, they're just as you are approaching town. Immediately you leave the town and you go into the interline. It's a complete disaster. I've been living in Akute since 2005. The entire road in Ifo2 constituency is a complete disaster. I am saying it authoritatively, a complete disaster.
Okay, now again, let me use Akute to as an example for the subject we are looking at. Now, a candidate comes to Akute. Again, we must also bear in mind that Akute is not the only place I'm going to work.
Yes.
They are not the only people who tell me, give me problems to be solved.
Yes.
So, and then I come to Akute and say, fine, I know you've been living with a bad road. I'm going to give you road. But you have to hold on with the needs for your primary health center or your health centers, because I know road is the most important. I want to open up Akute to the other areas. So I may not be able to do your health centers. Please permit me your school for the meantime. People in Akute, we have to move to Iju or Ajuon for your primary education, depending on that. Am I not being this kind of person? Is it likely to get a vote?
No.
From that area? So I realize that's the truth he's saying.
It's not the truth he's saying, because the point is this: you cannot come with your own set agenda. Democracy has to flow from the bottom. It is what we present to you from the constituency that we need, that you, who is our elected representative, should do. Not that you had visited some funny countries and then you come back and say, Tori Kotoye need Dubai. I want to turn. It doesn't work that way. Politics is local. Now let me use that Akute as an example again. I did a survey in 2014. We have just about 3 public schools in that Ifo2 constituency. And that's the population of almost about 500 to 650,000 people. It is crazy. Now, how could you come and say, okay, I should forget the education of my children at the expense of roads which you are not likely to complete? So how could you say that? No, just a minute.
No, I need to correct you. This is a radio. There are some language or words that are not.
My apologies. My apologies.
How
could you now say that I should also forget my health situation at the expense of a road that you are not likely to complete? So we need to prioritize our operations and our decision making. As it is, what we have had is a very fraudulent situation where the government was not sincere. And I'll give you the analogy. You came and you said you are going to do infrastructure development. It is the normal thing every government, every person aspiring will do. But you didn't tell me you are going to demolish my house.
But if you have your house built, I've said, okay, again, let's use some of those roads in the Akute area and say, okay, this road I want to expand it into 6 lanes or 4 lanes. And we have houses built right on the road. It's apparent that some of this construction, some of this building must give way. It's either you take your building, I go with the road without expanding, or I expand the road and then some of these structures will go.
I disagree.
Do I have to tell you that?
No, I disagree. You see, because we live in a country or in a system where people take things on a platitude. There has been no government anywhere in the world, you can Google it, that had done the kind of massive destruction as this government had done and got re-elected. By their own admission, between Idiroko and Bega, they had demolished 25,000 units of houses by their own admission on their own website. And where do you want those people to go? Now, you can do infrastructural development without necessarily having to render people homeless. There are ways. It's about planning.
Again, if you have a client, a case, and then what you call debriefing, you've gotten its own side of it, and you get to court, and then the other side begins to come up with things that you are not prepared for.
Yes.
You don't push on without having a retreat to also check what you need to fight it. So if I had told you that I'm going to do this before coming, and I get in and I discover that there are some tough measures I must take to achieve this, which one will I go for? To drop that or apply the tough measure and continue with what I should
First
do?
question, why did you approach the court in the first instance when you are not prepared?
No, you as the lawyer, I'm talking of your client.
That's what I'm saying. Before you go to court, you must have weighed both the pros and the cons of your position and say, okay, yes, I'm good to go. Okay? If you are not good to go, then there's no point in wasting the time of the court. And that's why they'll slam you with costs and damages. However, if midway you discover that there is a new point raised by the opponent, it is incumbent on you to assess and evaluate that point and then do a tactical retreat and find out whether, okay, if I change my modus, will I succeed or achieve the same results? But that's not what we've seen with this government. And that's why I said truthfulness and sincerity.
Now, Lawyer Kotoye, good. You've hammered on truthfulness, honesty, sincerity, and the likes. 7 years ago, if you had to go by your analysis, how many people would know that these demolitions will happen?
Because they were not told.
That's the point. Now they were not told. Now, how do you ascertain the plans, the policies of a particular governor or would-be governor or government when they are not yet there? Because that is exactly the focus of the discussion this morning.
Thank you, Tobi. Now, this is the point. You're approaching me and saying there is infrastructural decay and that you want to improve or regenerate the city. I'm using their words. And you have not come to say, this is how I'm going to do it. Before you could come up with that template, you must have done enough study and come with a design and say, okay, it's either let me use Abeokuta as an example. It's either we're going to use the whole Abeokuta city and leave it the way it is and create a new city entirely, like Chibola did in Oyo, the new town development scheme. Or alternatively, okay, in order to minimize the impact of what we're likely to do, we will still regenerate Abeokuta. However, we will not cause inconvenience to the citizenry. Because don't forget, if you are regenerating infrastructure, if you are regenerating infrastructure, you are not expecting ghosts to tread or use those infrastructure. It is human beings that will use those infrastructures. And you are not expecting those who you had dispossessed to be happy at the expense of those who are not affected. So basically, governance should actually have a human face. It should be truthful and sincere with the citizenry. And it should actually listen to what they actually wanted. If you say in Abeokuta North, which is where Okeluwo falls into, and you look at it and said, okay, gentlemen, this used to be the hub of our commercial activity. I want to turn it into another Wall Street. I want to turn it into another marina. I want to turn it into another Jewelry Park. But in doing so, there is the old secretariat there. That's the only thing I'm going to take away from the place. And I will redesign and build it in such a way that everybody will have a common access to it. It will not be concession to a private person. And so that we will know that it's our common patrimony. People will naturally be happy because they know that you are doing something that they are a part of and they are agreed to. Not that you come with an alien or a foreign idea like Paul said in the Bible, and you are not coming to say, necessarily this is what must be there. That is dictatorial.
Lawyer Kotoye, I'm still not convinced or maybe at the end the people might need to dump truth, honesty as a criteria to as something to watch out for in their candidate because it's like the Yoruba will say ọjà òkùnkùn ni wọ́n ní dẹ́mọ̀ mo wà bọ̀rọ̀ mi bò rí mi. How do I factually assert that this is the man? Because you do not know the real character of somebody until you give him power and money, and then it becomes a different person entirely. Tobi, as close as we are and as long as we have been saying, I may not be able to say this is the man he will be if he becomes the governor. I will only assess him from the periphery of what we have been doing. So, is it not a waste of time for the people to look at, is this man honest, is this
or what he says,
or what he says?
through what he says?
No, I don't think it's a waste of time. Permit me, sir, to use Trump as an example. You may not like him as a person. You may not like his style of politicking. But the truth is, the man is doing what he said he was going to do.
Exactly.
Let me use the Mexican War. The man said I'm going to build the border wall. And during campaign, they asked him, I think it was Hillary in at Wisconsin or somewhere, that said, oh, who's going to finance it? And the man came up and said, listen, I will ask these neighboring countries to contribute. I'm not going to use Americans' money. And you will agree with me that today the man is doing it. He said he never believed in NAFTA. And they said, oh, you are going to isolate America. I said, no, it's going to bring in more commercial advantage to the American businessman. Because America is actually losing. And the man exited NAFTA. Okay, that is what is called sincerity of purpose. That is the truth in politics. You need to be explicit and detailed. Explicit, detailed, and clear. Tó o bá sọ fún mi pé o fẹ́ ṣe títì, question tí màá béèrè lọ́wọ́ ẹni tó yẹ ká béèrè lọ́wọ́ wọn ni pé títì yẹn ń bo ló máa gbà, ṣé ó máa jẹ lé mi? Tó bá máa jẹ lé mi, tí ò bá tẹ́ mi lọ́rùn, mi ò lẹ́tọ̀ọ́ láti dìbò fún ẹ. Tó o bá sọ fún mi pé o fẹ́ gbé Shoprite wá sí Òkèléwó, Shoprite yẹn màá béèrè, okay, car park ń bo ló máa, ó máa need car park, ó máa need office, ṣé ó máa jẹ ọ́fíìsì tèmi? Tí ò bá tẹ́ mi lọ́rùn, mi ò ní dìbò fún ẹ. But not that, oh, ní sọ gbogbo eléyìí, wá keep it in dark. You will now come suddenly because you had seen some people somewhere doing it. So, oh, necessarily I must, èmi náà láti ṣe lógún, and the people of Ogun State must by force, by fire take it. No, democracy is not like that.
Okay, let's move away from that because I'm sure you have other things you are looking at, the criteria one should look at for before you get convinced that this man can do the job you want to give to him. Can we go to the other things you've listed?
Well, the other thing that I've listed is there must be a clear policy. And the person must be able to elucidate those policies in clear terms. Let me use health as an example. You must say, okay, in Ogun State, we have X number of health centers. Either I am going to increase the number to say one health center per polling booth or per ward, or you say the existing ones are already this. I am going to inject X amount of money into each one. Don't forget, listen, I'm sorry. It's not that I'm going to inject money. I'm going to inject X amount of money into each one.
We know the amount you are going
exactly. This is what they are going to do with the money. They are going to buy more syringes. They are going to buy more equipment. They are going to buy more MR scan equipment. And then, this is where the fund is going to come from. Because these are details that you need to spell out in your manifesto. Not that you just say, wọ́n ti bà gbogbo health situation wa jẹ́, ọmọ jí owó yẹn ní àwa tá bá débẹ̀ a máa tún ṣe. No. These days, people want clarity. They want to know what exactly you are going to do in that area. So if I'm employing you, and I said, okay, I also have a health facility, which you are also going to oversee as the CEO, you must be able to persuade me, back to your question now, sir, that, okay, I have studied the templates or the situation in your health facility. This is what I think is lacking. This is what I am going to do specifically. This is how I'm going to do it. This is where I'm going to get the votes from.
Now, let's look at one other factor that Nigerians have used so far to vote in their candidate. The political party itself, the popularity of the political party. I've cited on this table interviewed so many candidates. For instance, in 2011, Tobi, remember, we had some candidates, and the people would tell them, "Oh, you are very good. I'm convinced that all you have said. You are qualified. I wish I can vote for you, but you are in the wrong political party."
I've also been a victim.
So, what job does that do?
What role does it play?
You see, the issue of parties in Nigeria is a sore point. But gradually, and I think 2019 will be the defining moment. People are going to move from that shade of platform.
Should people move?
Oh yes.
Because we talk of the power of the center,
yes.
that it's easy to facilitate
no,
federal
you
government.
See, it is a misconception. People had moved before. 2019 is not going to be the starting, and it's not going to be an exception. When Labour Party won in Ondo State, nobody knew where Labour Party was coming from, and yet they won. When APGA won in Anambra and Imo, nobody knew where they were coming from. They were in an unknown entity. As a matter of fact, Victor Ume and the other gentlemen were always going to Anambra